guys, I'm back. This is first review in a long time actually. It's show just ended, TNA Sacrifice. It was, well, let's see here. Opening match, InkInc versus Mexican America. Mexican America picked up the win, and I have to say that was an okay match. It could have been a lot better, but it's the opener, and I haven't watched TNA in a long time, so I'm not familiar with Mexican America. I know it's Hernandez and some other dude, but InkInc I know a little bit about, but I don't understand the rivalry between them, but still it was an alright match. I gave that match 2.5 stars. It could have been a lot better. Next, Robbie E versus Brian Kendrick. All I have to say to start off the match was wow. Brian Kendrick comes out in some yoga position and was circling his head around in a white, had a white hood on his head or something. I don't understand that. Well, Kendrick picked up the win with a counter drop kick from a move that Robbie E was about to do. Overall, that match, it was basically an average match, not that good of a match, but whatever, still was alright, just alright. I gave that 2 stars, it deserved it. Next match, the knockout title match. Mickie James versus Madison Rayne. If Mickie James was the victor in this match, then Tara's out of Madison Rayne's power. Alright, first of all, are they trying to do a woman's version of the Nexus, kind of? But only one person controls the group, which is TNA. Is that what's trying to go on? Is that what TNA is trying to do? Anyway, that match, it was pretty boring, and the first 3 matches of the show really just, they weren't too good. The show didn't really start off too well, including this match. Madison Rayne lost, while Mickie James won after Tara hit Madison Rayne with some glove. I don't understand why just a little glove. I mean, how could just a little glove knock somebody out is what I want to know. So I gave that match 1.5 star. And then the show actually picked up a little bit, with the next match being the X Division title match between Max Buck and Kazarian. I think that's how you pronounce his name, Kazarian, or I'll just call him Kaz as his nickname. And well, Kaz ended up retaining. It was a very good match, very good moves, got me into it a lot. It got me back into the show. And however, like, started off, I think Buck really didn't have too much offense, and then they were trading left, right. It was pretty good. Let me see how it ended. The fade to black was countered into a shining wizard for the victory for Kaz, and yeah, it was a pretty good match. That was a good way to end it. I gave that match 3 stars. Then Crimson versus Abyss. First of all, who is Crimson? Found out he was undefeated, and he's been undefeated for 5 months. So, does that have to do with anything? Anyway, however, it was an alright match. They were out of the ring. Crowd was a little out of it. I was for a couple periods of time, except for the end. It was picked up in the end. Abyss had a second done a move I never seen him do. Stand it up. He stood up on the second rope, and he did a big frog splash on Crimson. But that was only for two. Then Crimson did a sky high power bomb, as Taz put it. I don't know if that's his finisher or not. Not too I really don't know that much about Crimson, but he ended up picking up the win on that. Overall, it was an enjoyable match, and gave that match 2 3/4 star. Then the tag team title match. Beer Money versus Hardy and Chris Harris. I remember Chris Harris from America's Most Wanted, a very good tag team with James Storm. However, this match wasn't too great. It kind of lacked a little bit. It was kind of a long match and drawn out. I gave it 2 stars because it was good, but you know, it could have been a lot better. The death sentence leg drop was used by James Storm to retain their titles. So overall, yeah, it's a 2-star match. Then Tommy Dreamer versus AJ Styles. This was the match that really brought me back in the show, that brought the whole crowd back in it. Whole crowd was going crazy during this match. Dreamer was, they both won the crowd. They both were using no disqualification match to the very limit. It was fun. It was enjoyable. Ending, Dreamer won on a pile driver through a table in order to win after Bully Ray Dudley hits Dreamer with a chain. But all in all, that was a great match. Way to get the crowd back into it. 4 1/4 star. Very good match. Very good job. Then, alright, I kind of enjoyed this match. Jeff and Karen Jarrett versus Kurt Angle and the return of Chyna. Beginning of the show, Jeff, yeah, this was right, I think this was right before the Brian Kendrick match. Brian Kendrick and Kazarian, Brian Kendrick and Robbie E match, when Karen was faking an ankle injury. Then all of a sudden, Mick Foley said, "Nope, that's not your ankle. There's a match tonight. Good luck," and welp, Angle and Chyna picked up the victory as expected on a double ankle lock. Angle was using the ankle lock on Jarrett, and Chyna used that on Karen Angle. Well, Karen Angle now, she's Karen Jarrett in TNA, but and they both tapped to allow them to both pick up the victory. I gave that 2 stars and a quarter, just to be nice. I mean, if you strongly didn't have any liking that match, then you could give it a dud, but I decided to give it 2 1/4 just to be, you know, just to give it 2 1/4. And the main event, Sting versus RVD. What a match. Mr. Anderson came out. The winner faced him at Slammiversary. He came out for to talk about, to commentate the match. The crowd was, they got involved in the crowd too, and this was a standard wrestling match, but the referee gave them some leeway. They could do whatever. They were rolling around the crowd. They were fighting in the crowd. The crowd was chanting, "This is awesome," in this match, and in the Dreamer match too. And if the crowd chants, "This is awesome," it is awesome. That's the rule of thumb for WWE reviewing, most definitely. And it was awesome. And Sting picking up the victory on the Scorpion Death Drop. All in all, that was a 4-star match. And the show, I have to say, it's, yeah, like I mentioned before, started off slow. However, it really picked up after the third match. It picked up. It was pretty good. It was a very good show. I was debating on whether to give it a 7, 7.5, or an 8. Decided I'll give it an 8. It deserves an 8. And it should be an 8. Alright, and, well, next week is WWE Over the Limit. I'll, watch that. See if WWE can rebound after a strand of kind of bad shows. And I'll be making a game recap on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday. So until then, we'll see you guys later.